Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another Bullet Force video. I apologize that it's been so long since not only my last video and my last Bullet Force video. I've just been pretty busy, but today I wanted to bring you guys a tryhard guide to Bullet Force. So basically these are just some tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you guys, this especially applies to people who want to just get down and dirty with it and grind for some guns, or just want to climb the scoreboard as they play. And these are just some tips that I play with and use whenever I want to just kind of try hard in Bullet Force. So I figured I would share them with you guys. So first of all, I try and get the best frame rate I can, or the highest frame rate as possible. And basically, if you don't know what frame rate is, basically it's the amount of images per second you see on your screen. Obviously, the higher the better, and the higher the frame rate is, the smoother the game looks, and the more quicker you can respond to different things in the game. So just in general, if you want to have a higher frame rate, you want to lower your graphics settings. Now, luckily, Bullet Force gives you this option. If you go into the settings menu, you can actually lower your graphics, and this will give you higher performance and more FPS. Now, I'm on an iPhone 8 Plus. I just run everything at max, and I love that I can do this. But if you're still on a high-spec device like I am, lowering the graphics also might be able to give you a visibility advantage, since some things might not render if you're on a lower graphics setting or things like that. But besides that, there is a setting in Bullet Force called the 30 FPS mode. Make sure that's off, because that will limit your frame rate to only 30 frames per second, which by today's standards is fairly choppy. And especially if you are on an Android, there might be some sort of gaming mode that you can enable to get better performance. I believe Samsung's have this. I'm not quite sure since I'm on iOS, but I know some Android devices have a cool gaming mode that you can enable, and that might give you some higher performance. Next up, I want to talk about audio, and this is something that is extremely undervalued in just gaming in general. I see a lot of people playing like without headphones, whether they're on computer or console or on mobile. I always try and have audio when I play games. It's just such a critical part of any sort of gaming experience, in my opinion. Now, for Bullet Force, since it's a fairly fast-paced game, I usually don't see listening to footsteps as that much of a priority. Now, instead, I usually listen to music because I prefer something that helps me concentrate and keep focus instead of listening to like the game audio. Now, if this was a video on how to try harding like Counter-Strike or a game like Critical Ops, I would definitely say that game audio would be definitely a higher priority than music, but I don't notice footsteps much of the time in Bullet Force anyway, so I think music is a higher priority for me because it helps me concentrate, and I think many of you guys will agree with me. So next up, I want to talk about sensitivity. Now, this is obviously very crucial to basically any game whatsoever, but if you play multiple first-person shooter games especially, it's extremely important that you make sure your sensitivity is fairly even across all of your games. It is super annoying to switch back and forth between games and have different sensitivities. Not only is it annoying, but it will really mess up your aim in both of those games. You'll lose that sort of like sixth sense that everyone has when you start getting used to a certain sensitivity in a game. You just won't be able to react to things as well, and you know, just losing that natural ability to aim. And obviously in Bullet Force, that's an extremely high priority, is just having the ability to aim. So I think having the sensitivity across all your games to be at least fairly even is super duper important. Now, I can't give you any tips on how to find your correct sensitivity. That's really up to everyone individually. However, I would suggest that because Bullet Force is a fairly fast-paced game, I would suggest that you have more of a high sensitivity, just for that ability to do things like 180s and whatnot, to react to certain things quicker. Now, next up, I want to talk about weapon choice. Now, on screen, you're going to be seeing gun game gameplay. That's just, you know, it's my favorite game to play, or game mode to play. But if you're playing a game like Team Deathmatch or free-for-all, weapon choice is obviously very important. I think the first thing that comes to mind is just the range. If you know what map you're playing on, obviously choosing a weapon that best suits that map's range is going to be very important. So if you're playing a close quarters map like Meltdown, having an SMG or an assault rifle is really going to give you an advantage. But if you're playing a game like, a map like, let's say, Urban or something like that, going with a sniper rifle might not be a bad option as well. But in my opinion, I think using the weapon that you feel more comfortable with is more important than using the quote-unquote correct weapon for the job, if you know what I'm saying. So last but not least, I want to talk about perks. So the most important perks, and the ones that I always run with basically all the time, is fast regen. I forgot the exact name to that, but whatever fast regen perk it is in Bullet Force. I always use trigger finger in either one of the extended mag perks or the more reserved ammo perks. Now, fast regen I think is just something that everyone should have, especially if you want to try and get those kill streaks. Being able to regenerate health faster after a gunfight is gonna give you a huge advantage when you go into your next gunfight. I mean, obviously dying fast is not something everybody wants, so having that ability to regenerate health faster is really important. Now, trigger finger is important to me because I use a setup where I just use both of my thumbs, so I shoot and I look around at the same time. So having an automatic sniper rifle is so important. So if I run out of ammo and I pick up like a deagle, for example, this trigger finger perk will make it basically an automatic weapon, which is super duper important, and it really gives me a big advantage because I can't look around and shoot at the same time. Well, I have to do it at the same time. I can't do them separately. So trigger finger is a very important perk that I run with. And just extended mags or reserved ammo, either one of those is obviously important. You want to have as much ammo as possible with your favorite gun. So anyway, guys, let me know if you have any extra tips in the comment section down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next video.